Welcome to MCCT, Microcrawler Capability Test. That's where we test and compare the driving performance and capability of micro trucks and microcrawlers from 1 to 18th to 1 to 24th scale. Trucks in stock condition as well as highly modified and upgraded ones. The trucks have to pass through 10 different tests. We'll get either points for their results or their performance will be graded. And the final scores will reveal the most capable microcrawlers. We check their climbing ability, descent performance, their tilt angle, their performance in overcoming easy and difficult obstacles, and their low speed modulation and low speed driving performance. Check the description for details of tests, scores, and mode of grading. Now let's start and present this episode's test trucks. In MCCT episode 14, we will test the FMS FCX24 Power Wagon in stock form and in slightly modified form. The FCX24 in stock form has a wheelbase of 138 mm and a weight of 430 grams. It has all-terrain Contract AC70 325/70 R18 MPT tires with 60 by 20 millimeters, and it has a 2S LiPo with 380 milliamp hours and only 5C. It has a 130 sized brushed motor, a 2-speed transmission, and an adjustable drag brake. You can switch between 0, 50, 75 and 100% drag brake by radio control. In the slightly modified FCX24, we removed the roll cage and the spare wheel. Its weight is only 402 gram versus 430 gram of the out-of-the-box forms, and we changed rims and tires. It runs on Injora Crawler Master AT tires with 58 by 20 millimeters and on Injora deep dish stamped steel rims with minus 3.78 millimeter offset. Everything else is stock. We call this FCX24 Modified V1. There will probably be more upgraded versions of the FCX24 in future episodes of MCCT. And now let's check how those trucks can climb. Test 1. Climb on a rough surface. 45 degrees for the stock FCX24, no problems. 48 degrees seem to be no problem, but 49 degrees. It falls again. 49 degrees, too much for the stock FCX24. That's poor. Will the modified FCX24 do it? Yes, 49 degrees, no problem. 52 degrees, much more, also no problem. 53 degrees, easy. And 54 degrees, suddenly there seems to be a problem. It falls. $54 degrees. Will it do it? No. Too much even for the modified FCX24. So in test 1, climb on a rough surface, 48 degrees for the FCX24 in stock form and 3 points, and 53 degrees and 8 points for the FCX24 modified V1. The modified FCX24 is on 8th place and the stock FCX24 only on 22nd place out of 28 trucks tested so far. Here the best trucks we can see see the modified FCX24 53 degrees as the FCX24 full metal, a good result, but no top result by far, and the FCX24 in stock form only on place 22 with the Hobby Plus CR24 Defender with 48 degrees, place 22 out of 28 trucks tested so far, so a quite poor result. And test 2, climb on a smooth surface, 45 degree, 47 degree for the stock FCX24, no problem. 48 degrees seems easy, and 49 degree again, it tips over. 49 degree is again too much for the stock FCX24, not for the modified V1 FCX24. 51 degree for the modified FCX24 seems easy. 52 degrees, that's already difficult and needed several tries. It's struggling. And finally 53 degrees for the modified FCX24. Come on. Seems to be able to do it. Starts and falls. Seems to be able to climb it and then cannot finish it. So here the results of the FCX24s in test 2, climb on a smooth surface. The stock FCX24 did 48 degrees, 3 points for this, and the modified FCX24 V1 did 52 degrees, nearly 53 degrees, and gets 7.5 points for this. Here all 28 trucks tested so far. The modified FCX24 on place 7 and the stock FCX24 only on place 22 again. Here in more detail, the FCX24 modified with 52 degrees, 7th place, but he has the same result as the full metal FCX24, Capo Cup 1, Adventure V2, and the Deadbolt Chevy, and even the modified CR24 Defender, so no super good result. And place 22 with the LC80 and the CR24 Defender for the FCX24 in stock form. Test number 3, descent, going down, stop, and going up again in reverse. We start this test at 45 degrees, and for every degree more than 45 the truck will gain 0.5 points. So let's test this in the FCX24, and wow, it falls already at 45 degrees. So that's quite a bummer. All 26 trucks tested so far could do 45 degrees, and the FCX24 is the first one that's not able to go down at 45 degrees and go up in reverse again. So we will start at 40 degrees with the FCX24 now. However, 0 points in test number 3. So 40 degrees now for the stock FCX24. Drag brake is set to 0% in all those incline tests, and 40 degrees it's okay, not a big problem. 41 degrees, it's already lifting its rear tires, but manages to do 41 degrees. 42 degrees, still not really steep. It can do it. And 43 degrees. No, even not only 43 degrees. Second try. Maybe. Come on, 43 degrees is nothing, but no. Third try. No chance. And the modified FCX24, 43 degrees? No, also not. Second try. Unbelievable. No improvement. Bit better maybe, but no. Third try. No, even the modified FCX24 is not able to do 43 degrees, 42 degrees with problems, but that's the maximum. So 42 degrees only for both versions of the FCX24 in test 3 and 0 points. It has a heavy but cool body, but removing the cage didn't bring any improvement here. Probably that's also due to the portal axles, because here we see all 28 trucks tested so far, and the FCX24 is on the last place, but there are trucks such as the FMS LC80 Toyota with super heavy hard bodies. But the FMS Toyota LC80 with the Land Cruiser hard body, the same as the Rokkobi Katana and the ECRC Patriot, it could do 49 degrees, so the hard body cannot be the only reason for this super poor result. Probably it's also due to the portal axles and super high center of gravity. And here in detail the last places, and we see the best trucks, the FMS Toyota Hilux, which also has a hard body, 55 degrees. What a difference. And the trucks with the poorest results so far were the RC 4-wheel drive 1 to 18th Blackjack with the Bronco body, the Gravedigger SCX24 and the RGT Adventurer V2 with 46 degrees. So that's quite a bummer, but no matter if they would have done 45 degrees or 42 degrees, 0 points here. And now let's check their tilt angle. And test number 4, tilt angle to the left side, the stock FCX24, 41.75 degrees. And the modified FCX24, 46.35 degrees. Test 5, tilt angle to the right side, stock FCX24, 41 degrees. And the modified FCX24, 46.45 degrees. And here the results of tests 4 and 5, tilt angle to the left and to the right in detail. The stock FCX24, 41.75 degrees to the left and 4.9 points for this, and 41 degrees to the right and 4.5 points for this. And the modified FCX24, 46.35 degrees to the left and 7.2 points for this, and 46.45 degrees to the right and also 7.2 points for this. This is an absolutely top result. Here all 28 trucks tested so far, and we see the modified FCX24 on place 3 and the stock FCX24 on place 18. Here in more detail, the third place of the modified V1 FCX24 and the 18th place of the stock FCX24. And now to test number 6, the flat side of the hill of branches. No problem for the stock FCX24 and no problem for the modified FCX24. So 2 out of 2 points for this for both trucks in test number 6. Test number 7, the steep side of the hill of branches, the most difficult test and obstacle of MCCT, drag brake settings 100%. The FCX24 in stock form is doing super hard. It's struggling and struggling and struggling. No grip and high center of gravity. After countless trials, it manages to do the obstacle in first gear, followed by countless failures again, and finally, in about 15 minutes of constantly trying, it succeeded 2 times. First time in first gear and second time in second gear. Here, the successful trial in second gear, poor performance, and the modified FCX24, unbelievable performance, never seen before. It seems to be nearly no problem, there was not a single failure. It can do and climb the obstacle in first gear and in second gear, and even with switching gears from first gear to second gear. Wow! And here the points for test 7, steep side of the hill of branches. The stock FCX24, 1 out of 10 points only. Super poor performance. 2 successful trials out of probably more than 100, but it could do it. But the FCX24 modified. Unbelievable. What a performance. This has never been seen before. Normally you would say a 10 out of 10, but we can't give it 10. Maybe there will be a truck that's even better. Hard to believe. Not one single failure. Wow. 9.8 points out of 10 for this unbelievable performance. Test number 8. The flat side of the hill of pebble stones. No problem for the stock FCX24 and no problem at all for the modified FCX24. 2 out of 2 points here for both trucks. Test number 9. The steep side of the hill of pebble stones. Super difficult obstacle, and the stock FCX24 is really struggling. Here in this obstacle, the wide track of the FCX24 is a disadvantage compared to the SCX24s tested, because it cannot avoid with the left tire the big large pebble stone, which is super smooth on the left side. But it can do it better, much better than the steep side of the hill of branches. A lot of failures, but also a lot of successful tries. Picking the right line on the right side of the obstacle is the most important thing to do a successful trial. Second gear. In gear 1, in gear 2 it's easier. For the first step, gear 2 is a big advantage. And the modified FCX24 has even a wider track because of its rims, so no advantage, but it performs really well. Not every trial is successful, in contrary to the steep side of the hill of branches, but picking the right line on the right side, it can do it in first gear and in second gear. Absolute top performance, but not as stunning as the performance in the steep side of the hill of branches. So test 9, steep side of the hill of pebble stones. For the stock FCX24, 3 out of 10 points here, much better than in the steep side of the hill of branches. And the FCX24 modified V1, again, absolutely top performance, but not as stunning as in the hill of branches. 8 out of 10 points here. With the FCX24's Betty modified V1 and Gravedigger, this obstacle was a bit easier to do than with the FCX24 modified, mainly probably because of its wider track. It's a little bit more difficult. And the last test, test number 10, low speed performance and modulation. Since both trucks have the same electronics, performance is the same, and the performance of the FCX24 is absolutely awesome. The best out of the box performance in this we have seen so far. In first gear, super responsive, super nice throttle control, trigger response, wow, absolutely top. Even better than in the FCX24 in the new electronics V2. Fantastic, and a super powerful motor. So that's really fun to drive. Perfect for a crawler. And the second gear makes driving, of course, even more fun and helps a lot in crawling if you need punch, but not for low speed modulation. So 10 low speed performance and modulation, 3.5 out of 5 points for the FCX24s. All tests finished, so we come to the final score of MCCT 14, FCX24 in stock form and in slightly modified form. All 10 tests here, all points gained. And we see simply changing the wheels and removing the cage and the spare tire makes this truck to a new truck, to a much better performing truck. The stock tires look super cool and are probably top mud tires, but not perfect for climbing and crawling. But both trucks have one big minus. Test number 3, descent. That's probably because of the portal axles and the heavy body, and this can probably be improved by adding weight, maybe a longer wheelbase, but maybe with longer wheelbase the climbing ability will suffer, but only changing wheels make the FCX24 to an absolutely top crawler. Here we see all points. The FCX24 in stock form could perform all tests. That is good. No failure at the steep sides of the hill of branches or the hill of pebble stones, and 26.9 points all in all. And the FCX24 in modified V1 form, 55.2 points. That's an absolutely top result. What we can see here, the FCX24 in modified V1 form with 55.2 points on third place of 28 trucks tested so far, and the FCX24 in stock form on 11th place. Here in more detail, the FCX24 in stock form did not fail one obstacle, so it's in the top group. However, out of all trucks which could perform all tests, it gained by far the lowest point count, only 26.9 points compared to the CR24 Defender Modified, for example, which gained already 34.8 points. And the FCX24 Modified V1 with 55.2 points could probably improve its point count by adding weight, by improving its descent ability. The FCX24 in modified form is on third place with 55.2 points. However, there are 8 and more than 9 points difference to the best drugs tested so far, the SCX24 Betty Modified V1 and the Gravedigger SCX24. So that's quite a big gap, and probably even weights will not close this gap fully. But an absolutely top crawler. The FCX24 has a lot of potential, and only super simple modifications, better wheels, make it to an absolutely top crawler. And the FCX24s are probably the most fun trucks of all to drive, because they have 2-speed, and bashing around in fast second gear or using the power to get up steep hills is a lot of fun. So that's it for MCCT 14, but watch out for the next episode of MCCT. There are still a lot of trucks to be tested. MCCT will be back.